Show your face. Show your face, please. With sugar on top.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all know my slogan. I don't know it all, but I know what I've been through. Now, before we get into this video, please make sure you head on down to Instagram and follow us on our official Instagram page at hookahanonymous_. Alright? We're able to be a little more explicit, a little more uncensored, and share content freely without running the risk of having our channel terminated. So, once again, make sure you head on down to Instagram and follow us on our official Instagram page at hookahanonymous_. Alright? Now let's get into what you guys came here to see. Now, today we got an interesting story, y'all, about a female detention officer out of Fulton County who was busted due to a small mistake of one of the prisoners that she was participating in explicit acts with. These situations occur way more than we think, but we don't hear too much about it because they're either kept behind closed doors or the people involved usually keep it a secret, you know, as they should. Now, I don't know what would drive a female officer who has freedom and liberty to deal with whoever they want on the outside world, but instead put their whole career and freedom on the line just to deal with an inmate. You know, now I know that a lot of these inmates have the gift of gab and they got all day to work on their craft, but I really wonder what they tell these officers that will make them jeopardize their job and throw it all away. And that's exactly what this officer did. Now, 36-year-old Kawana Jenkins was fired and arrested after a video surfaced of her engaging in sexual activity with an inmate on a cell phone that he wasn't even supposed to have in the first place. Now, anything, whether it's certain foods, clothing, electronics, whatever, is considered contraband if it's possessed by the inmate and goes against the prison's guidelines. So during a routine shakedown in Fulton County Jail, officers found a cell phone. Now, for those that don't know what a shakedown is, it's when the officers randomly search inmates' belongings, making sure that they don't have anything that they're not supposed to in the jail, such as weapons or contraband. Now, shakedowns are usually performed when officers are tipped off by an inmate about another inmate having something they aren't supposed to have, or sometimes they perform them due to officers' suspicion. It kind of varies, but it usually is when another inmate tip off the officers. Now, upon going through the cell phone confiscated, officers found a video of a woman who was later identified as Officer Kawana Jenkins, with an inmate putting his finger in her mouth as they laughed and played around with each other in where it seems to be an area only permitted for officers. Before her termination, Jenkins had worked for the Fulton County Sheriff's Office since 2019. She's been charged with 2 counts of improper sexual contact, 2 counts of reckless conduct, and 5 counts of violation of oath by a public officer. Jenkins is also charged with 2 counts of cruelty to inmates and 1 count of giving an inmate a prohibited item without authorization. 9 times out of 10, she was the one that provided the inmate with the contraband, aka the cell phone, and that's why she was hit with giving an inmate a prohibited item without authorization. Now, once again, if you've ever been incarcerated, and I'm not glorifying it at all, I honestly hope no one goes through that type of experience. But if you've been in there and experienced guys receiving contraband from COs, then you know that it can be very dangerous for many reasons. These officers sometimes provide these guys with outside food, cell phones, liquor, drugs, DVDs, magazines, clothing, everything. Even worse, weapons. You know, I've seen it with my own eyes in Rikers back in 2014, where a housing unit I was staying in, these guys was drinking Ciroc. You see what I'm saying? I'm not talking about 1 or 2 bottles. These guys had a few bottles of Ciroc, walking around looking all sluggish, which is kind of crazy because, first of all, you already in prison, right? Or jail, because Rikers is technically a jail. But you in jail and you decide to, you know, be intoxicated at a time when you're supposed to be on your P's and Q's the most. You see what I'm saying? How are you going to be intoxicated in jail? Now that leaves any of your ops or whatever you want to call them, anybody who wanted to do something to you, they just wait until you get intoxicated, whether you drinking that hooch or you drinking liquor. and then do something to you because they know you're not in your right state of mind. But either way, I know dudes probably do it to cope with, all the time that they doing, or to cope with the pain or whatever. But nah, that's not the route to go, man. But it happens, But what I said all that to say this: it's real. It gets real. These COs sneak in, whatever, and it could be detrimental to another inmate. Now back to the situation. I don't know what these guys be telling these women, but I really want to know, what is it that they tell these women that make them want to risk it all? Your whole career, your job. And they said she just got the job in 2019, 4 years ago. So what was her real intentions of getting that job in the first place? Now, I do know that a lot of these women are persuaded by money to do some of these acts, because sometimes you have an inmate who was a kingpin on the street, or just someone who was getting to a bag. They bribe these officers with large amounts of money to get whatever they want. And they do it to male COs as well. Whether it's 5,000, 10,000, or even more. These COs don't make that much money, so it's really not that hard to persuade them with money to do things that, the inmates want, or gifts. And I'm not going to get into how they do it, but it does go down, man. A lot of times when you see these COs, they rocking Rolexes. You hear they driving the latest BMW. You think they just doing it from hard work, and it's really not, man. So I say all that to say, if she got him that cell phone in there, it's no telling whatever else she got in for. The phone is the only thing that they caught. And I don't know whose bright idea it was to have a video of her on that cell phone. I just think they both was lost, man. If that video was never in there, she'll still have her job and they wouldn't never know a thing. And all they seen was a video of her sucking his finger. I'm more than sure if she let him do all that to her, she definitely had sex with him. Most definitely. And maybe one of the inmates was jealous. That's how that goes. Maybe the officers was tipped off because one of the other inmates felt like, well, how he get to have sex with an officer and I can't? Or how he get to have a cell phone, how he get to eat outside food, how he get to do whatever other privileges she allowed him to do while she was on her shift. Someone probably snitched. It's that simple. It happens a lot. And you would never know because it goes anonymous. So I don't know, man. In this case, it was just a case of stupidity between two individuals, y'all. Both the inmate and the officer. But let this be a lesson. If you ever in a situation, and God forbid y'all ever be in that situation where you're in prison and you messing with a CO, but if you are, please don't keep any evidence in your phone. It's foolish. As y'all seen in this case, a random shakedown led to an officer losing her job when it all could have just been prevented had they not had that video in a phone that they're not supposed to have. Alright, so anyway, man, y'all jump in the comments, let me know how y'all feel about this, what y'all think about the CO messing with the inmate, and not only this situation, how do you feel in general about COs fraternizing with these inmates, risking it all, man? Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. And remember, as long as you keep on watching, I'm going to keep on dropping. And I'm out.